Hi, this is Paul from Sand & Steel Fitness, and this is my review of Bodybuilding Anatomy by Human Kinetics. Human Kinetics was nice enough to loan me one of the books to review, and I had nothing but really good things to say about it. When reading it, one of the things immediately that I thought of was the two books pictured on either side by Frederick DeLavier and his Strength Training Anatomy and Sculpting Anatomy for Women. Not surprisingly, it's the same publisher, Human Kinetics, that makes these books, and in some ways they're similar, in some ways they're different. The book on the right, Strength Training Anatomy, I kind of consider one of the seminal books published on showing how different muscle systems work. You can see on the cover there, they sold over 1 million copies of this book, and if you're serious into strength training or any kind of personal trainer, I think it's really a must-have book. Everybody learns. So I wanted to open the book so you can take a look inside. And one thing I really liked, I just flipped open to this Dumbbell Incline fly page, but it shows all of the real popular exercises. They're all grouped, if you see left here, by the type of movement. So we're in the upper chest category. So if I go back a little bit, we're still in upper chest. Here showing the barbell incline press. It nicely highlights which muscle groups and tells you the names of them: anterior deltoid, upper pectoralis major, and the triceps brachii, or what are working in the barbell incline press. It shows you how to do the movement in very clear language on the left side. And then on the right, it'll tell you why to do the movement, some tips on things like hand spacing, what the range of motion is, and gives you a number of different variations. Some of the other movements in here may tell you if there's any particular problems with different type of movements. Here, if you look at the dumbbell incline press, the book's in exactly the same format, this page, and if I flip even just, to lower chest, you can see they all look the same, and that makes it very approachable. I had a number of clients at Sand & Steel look through this book, as well as some of our personal trainers, and they all thought it was really, really effective. Personally, I found this book to kind of be a very good consolidation, very clear and concise in its execution. Nothing terribly new, but just packaged really well, really convenient. This is the kind of book you can bring to the gym if you needed other ideas on, what else should I do for my back? Well, here's a seated row. Here's how to do it. Here's what you need to focus on with grip strength. And that I found really good. And this book isn't designed to be a single book in terms of you need to know how to program different techniques together. It doesn't go into diet. It really has a very defined scope and doesn't attempt to go any further than that. I flipped a little further to working the abdominals, and it has upper and lower as well, and it focuses on things like the sit-up and outlines the different muscle groups, shows why it works the quadriceps as well. Shows you, here's a variation with a 4 sit-up, and that's really, really effective. The book, of course, in the back here has a nice index, which is the key for moving through a book quickly to find different variations, such as if I wanted to look at the wrist curl, it's located, everything is shown by different groups. So if I want to look at abdominal moves, or if I want to look at leg moves, that's all available to me. To contrast the other books, if you look at Strength Training Anatomy, there's a lot more detail on how the anatomy looks in this book, a lot more focus on the anatomy, which I think is where the title kind of came from. It has some more dated exercises. The book, been through several iterations. Even the kind of people that are illustrated are older in terms of the style, but in this case you can see there's a lot of detail in Strength Training Anatomy on how to do the move with the different variations, and that's one reason I really like this book, as well as just all this amazing detail for a book at this price at how to illustrate the different muscles. What you'll find in Sculpting Anatomy for Women is they have a bit of a nutrition piece in the beginning, which it goes through. It's probably about 30 pages or so. and then focus on some women issues like getting rid of cellulite and things like that. And then it really just focuses on the abdominalis and the glutes. And a lot of those movements are in these other two books as well. This book really just kind of packages it better for women and focuses on a woman's point of view as well as key movements in these particular areas with less emphasis on biceps or shoulders. This move, for example, it's kind of like a split dog pose, or they call it a opposite arm and leg raise. This one isn't featured in these two books, and it gives you a lot of different tips. It breaks down how to do the movement. They show you by target, repetitions, gives you some particular warnings. So it's really effective in kind of breaking down a complicated movement so that you can do them. The side raise on the knees. This is kind of a Pilates type movement, but still an effective one. You won't find it in the other books, but this book does talk about squats, and squats will be in both books. So really, in terms of choosing between the three books, you really got to figure out what your focus is. If you're working abdominalis and glutes, this is a great book. If you want kind of like a handheld dictionary that you can bring to the gym if you need to find another movement and tips on how to make it work, I think that's what Bodybuilding Anatomy really focuses on. And if you want really the most detail on the different muscles and how they work, as well as some really effective tips on correct form for different techniques, Strength Training Anatomy, I still think is an excellent book. But I think I'm better for having read Bodybuilding Anatomy, and I do recommend it to my clients. So I appreciate Human Kinetics marking it out, and definitely check it out if you have a chance. Thanks a lot.